Okay, we're continuing with our constructions. I'm going to remind you that in part 1, I told you that you need to be sure that you're doing all of the construction lines. That means the extra lines that we had over here, that means the extra arcs, they all need to be on there. You need to use the compass and the straight edge for every single part, just like I do. If you're not doing that, you're not getting credit for that question. Don't try to fake me out, I can tell the difference. Alright, so we're going to now start here on number 6, and we're going to do some more. This first one says to divide this into 3 equal parts. So that's a little bit different. So what we're going to do is first I'm going to draw this line over here, and we're just going to do it the same way we did on the previous video. So I paused it, I repeated the same process we did over here to copy the line over. So pause the video, copy the line over. Now starting here, I now know where the line is. It goes from there to there. I need to draw 2 lines, one coming off of each end. And they don't have to be any special angle or anything. They just need to be 2 lines kind of like this. Mine happen to be kind of parallel, but they don't need to be parallel. Then I'm going to set the compass so that it's a little over 1/3 of the way. You could do it about half of the original line will be fine. Then I'm going to put it on this end, and I'm going to make these lines on this one that I did here. And I'm going to make one cut here, then another cut here. My line's not long enough, so I'm going to redraw it longer. And one more. So I've got 3 parts here. And then we do the same thing on the other one. Now, what I'm going to do is this one, I'm going to do these lines in very lightly. This one lines up with the end of my line. Then the next 2 are going to line up. Then the next 2 are going to line up. And my last 2 are going to line up. Now, if I come back to my original line, what I have here, here's my original line. And I now have equally spaced dots. Here's my 2 points at the end, and here's my 2 points in the middle, and I have perfectly equal spaced 3 spaces there. Alright, pause and then do this if you haven't done this yet with the video. Alright, the next one says we're going to make a perpendicular bisector. A perpendicular bisector, it's perpendicular, so it's 90 degrees. And bisector means it cuts it in half. And we know that if it's cut in half, that's exactly the midpoint. So we're going to be finding the middle and cutting it in half. So now this time I'm going to work right on top of this line, and I'm going to make a line that goes perpendicular right through the center of this line. And we're actually going to do it with the same technique we used on number 5. So I'm going to take and set my compass a little bit over halfway. 1/3 works really good, so a little over half. And I want to make a big arc. Then leave your compass at exactly this setting and move it to the other end. And notice that I'm actually moving my whole paper. It is perfectly okay to move your paper. Don't try to keep it in one place because it comes very awkward. In fact, it's easier to move the paper as you make the arc than to move your hand with the compass. That's very awkward. As you make these bigger ones, you're going to want to use that technique. Now, remember how we did it before? I'm going to then take my straight edge and draw a line through where the arcs are crossing. There. So my perpendicular bisector that it asked me to draw is this line right here. I know that this is a 90-degree angle because I just made it. And I know that this side is congruent to that side. And we can show that by putting a line here and a line here that shows this side is congruent to that side. Alright. We're going to locate the midpoint. We are literally going to do the same thing. This was the perpendicular bisector where we went through the middle of it and cut these into 2 equal parts. Now we're going to do the same technique to find the midpoint here. Set your compass a little over half. 1/3 usually works well. Draw the arc. Notice again that I'm holding my hand steady and I'm moving my paper to draw the arc. That's so much easier than anything else. Put this on the end, and again, move the paper to draw the arc. Then draw the line through the middle. On the last one, they wanted the perpendicular bisector, that's why I drew it red. This one, they just want the midpoint. So I did the same technique, but all I need to find is this point right here, which is the midpoint. That's what they asked me to find.